Hi everyone, in this video we're diving into the control structures, the flow control structures, and in the iteration and loops by introducing the for statement. The for statement also allows us to repeat some instructions until when some condition is true, but the behavior is slightly different than the while. In this case, we can use the for statement in different way. So one of them is this. We represent here a set of values, such as a list, and we define a variable that takes each one of these values. So in this case, the action 1, action 2, and so on are repeated for each of the values of this structure. So take into account that this loop will end when all the values have been taken by the variable. So this is more easy to define an end condition for the loop in contrast to the while. So here we have an example in which we have a list of items and we use the variable name for taking the values of this list. So let's see how the for loop statement works. Here we have the output and here the program. And first of all, we define instruction for print that is shown here, and then we find this for loop. So name should take each of the values of the list, starting from the first one, that is pepper. So here the variable name takes this value and go inside the for statement, that is this code with the indentation. That is just a print of the value. We show this print here in the terminal, and again let's go to the condition of the for, and the variable name takes the second value of the list, that is broccoli. So this value is changed here, and let's go to execute the code inside the for, that is this print. Again we go here and takes the next value, go inside, print, go here, takes the last value and go inside here. Since there are not any values in this list to be taken, the loop ends at this point. And then we proceed with the next instruction below the for statement, that is this final end. Well, here will appear an end here in the terminal. Well, this is one of the ways of using the for loop. There are other ways, such as this one. We want to repeat some conditions several times, some instructions, several times. But we know how many times we want to repeat this condition. This is another typical structure that is used when programming. So in this case, we put the for loop statement for a variable that takes the values instead of a given list. For example, we put a range of numbers from the beginning until the end. So this function range takes an initial value and a final value, and the variable takes the values of the range from the first to the last. In this case, let's see an example of how this works. As you can observe, we repeat the instructions inside the if statement, the for statement, depending on the values for the values 1 until 5 minus 1, take into account that this last value will not be taken. Well, here we have the output and the memory, and first we define the variable total with value 0 and start with the loop. So the first value that the variable I takes is the initial, that is 1, and we go inside the for statement. We print this value and we change the value of variable total by increasing the current value by I in this case. So let's go again. I takes the next value, in this case 2, print, change the value of total, and then again I takes the next value of the range, in this case 3, print, increase total, and then I takes the next value 4, print, total, And take into account that this range goes from 1 until 5 minus 1. This is always the same. So since we take the value of 4, this is the last value of the loop, and here at this point the loop ends. So we are going to execute the first instruction outside the for statement, that is this print of the value of total. In this case, you can observe that the for value, instead of having a predefined list, repeats the instructions from one initial value until a final value. So here you have another example in which the range, apart from having the initial and the final value, has a third parameter that is called the step. So each value of I, each iteration is increased by this step. By default, the step is 1, 1, 2, 3, so on. But in this case, we define the step by 2. So here we'll say the values of I will be changed -1, -3, -5, -7, and so on. Here, take into account that the for in range can be also used for strings. In this case, if we have a string, for example, hello, the range can go from 0 to the last position of the string. So this type of for allows us to go for each character of the string. This can be also used in some programs in order to go to every character of a string. In a similar way than the while loop statement, we can use break and continue to stop the execution of the for. In this example, if this condition is true, the break causes to end the for at this point and prevent it to going until the last of the range values. In a similar way, the continue statement breaks the iteration. And if you have a for, you can convert it as a while. Each type of loop is used in different situations. The while loop is more used when you have some condition that you need to check, but you don't know how many iterations can be carried out. At some point will be end, but you don't know if there will be carried out 5, 7, or 10 iterations. Or maybe you can figure out, but it's easy to write the code. So in this case, it's very important to take into account that you have to explicitly define some kind of operation that allows us to the while loop to end at some point. In contrast, the for loop is usually used for those situations in which you have how many repetitions do you want to carry out, such as some instructions during 10 repetitions, 100, and so on. In any case, both loops can be used in the majority of the situations. So what you write as a for can be written as a while. So at the end depends on the programming style of each programmer. So this for and the while loop can be used for repeating instructions until some condition becomes false, or during several iterations predefined, as we have seen in the for loop. Thanks for watching.